Welcome to the Pulse with Peter B. I'm your host, Peter Biancamano. Let's get you to the pulse on everything you need to know. And today's show is brought to you by the Pilsener Haus. Hey guys, I love fans when they say hello to me. Today's show is brought to you by the Pilsener Haus and Biergarten. Go visit our friends at 1422 Grand Street. Have a beer, have a pretzel, have a very, very good time. And I'm so happy to be joined today at a Taste of Hoboken over at Maxwell Place Beer to support the Hoboken Community Center by Tony Tamarazzo.
Well, thanks, Peter. Thanks to everyone for being here again. It's such a pleasure. I'm not the top board member. I'm just one of the members of the band.
I love it.
We love having you here today. You know, we're here at the 2022 Taste of Hoboken. The Hoboken Community Center has been doing this for 25 years. We had a short hiatus for COVID, obviously. Anyone who had that on their game plan should have given us a head up, but we took 2 years off and we're back. All the money raised tonight goes to support the Hoboken Community Center. Excellent. And all the works that we're doing. You know, we have 3 missions. We have an affordable housing program for 96 low-income men. They're furnished rooms. We get referrals from various shelters and county agencies. We also started a food pantry in March of 2020. We have 1,750 families registered in that food pantry right now. And we have a recreation center.
And we're getting interrupted on camera, but that's okay. Always taking donations, don't worry. Finish, please.
Sorry, and we have
That's great.
That's what we do. We just ask for money.
There you go. Right on camera it happens.
That was a cue. Yeah. But we have a 43,000 square foot building that we have a business plan ready to go to open a state-of-the-art community center in Uptown Hoboken. Just another way that, you know, our team wants to serve, you know, this community. Well,
Tony, thank you so much. Thank you for inviting us. We actually have a very, very special treat for the Taste of Hoboken at the Hoboken for the Hoboken Community Center. We have Daria Peace of that Hoboken Eats and Krista Stucchio of that #FoodPicks. They don't appear together on almost any show, but we brought them out because why not have 2 of the biggest food influencers trying out all the great fare, right or wrong?
That's great. Well, thank you. And
thank you,
the Pulse is great. We appreciate you.
I appreciate you. All right, folks, let's go right to Daria. Thanks, Tony.
Peter. Thanks, Peter. I'm Daria Peace at Hoboken Eats, and this is my very good friend, Krista Stucchio, with @FoodPick. Krista, look at this spread we have in front of us.
I know. Everyone's been staring at us. I think they think it's a food eating contest, which it might turn into that.
We don't know, but I think we'll probably enjoy every single bite.
Every single bite. You're like my favorite person to eat with, and I haven't seen you in so long, so this is just like our reunion.
This is our dinner date, is this, which is like the best dinner date
It is the best dinner date. All right, so should we get started with these meatballs and money bags?
From
Il Tavolo. Oh, I'm actually grabbing the
all right, money bag time
first.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna put the whole thing in my mouth, I think.
Oh my God, it's amazing. The sauce is so light with the zucchini. It's like a white wine sauce with the vegetables.
This is a perfect mixture because the cheese is really rich inside.
It's so rich and it's so, it looks like it'd be a heavy pasta, but it's light and goes down so good. Try the meatballs.
It is. Oh my God.
I don't know if I'm dancing because the meatballs are so good or because there's music in the background. Maybe both. So good.
I don't know. My nanny might have a run for her money.
Uh-oh.
All right, run for her money bags.
What do we got next?
All right. Now we got sangria.
Okay.
Their paella is amazing.
I'm seeing shrimp. I'm seeing clams. I'm seeing
chorizo.
And I see it was a little bit of chicken.
Oh yeah.
Let's do it. I'm gonna use the spork on this one.
Go for it.
I see some clams in here too.
Oh yeah. I just love rice.
The spice in here is absolutely phenomenal. Would you get a bite of the clam?
You know what? I got a shrimp and a clam in here. It's gonna be way too messy to eat, but you bet I will be finishing this.
Fantastic flavor on this one. I say we go back and get the
actual full paella.
100%.
Yes. All right. We got a double whammy here.
Okay.
It's Pilsener Haus. We've got some pierogies and we've got the pretzel, the
and
epic pretzel.
You know how I feel about my beer cheese dip for the pretzel.
It's honestly the best. Okay, I'm gonna go for the pierogi.
All right, I'm gonna go with the pretzel first.
Go for it.
Big scoop of the cheese dip.
A little
Going
sour
right in.
cream. I'm gonna take all the caramelized onions. I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
Caramelized onions.
Okay.
Some bacon bits.
You go first. Oh man.
Oh man, that caramelized onion.
Should I do it too? Caramelized onion,
Yeah.
bacon, and sour cream? Okay. I need you to get into this cheese dip. Are you
All
a
right.
cheese dip girl or a mustard gal?
Cheese dip all the
All
way.
the way,
I
all right.
like mustard. I like my condiments, but
But when
You
it's
know,
beer, cheese dip, and pretzel,
it's beer-
it's like a no-brainer.
it just doesn't compare. Just does not compare.
All right, let's see.
Pillowy.
It's like the perfect amount of crunch with a nice doughy, potatoey inside, and then you get the tang from the onions, the coolness from the sour cream, and then the saltiness
You're
from the
just
bacon.
Lipton's today. Go, girl.
All right,
Okay.
keep it moving. Keep
We
it
gotta
moving.
move some things out of the way because this is gonna be a little messy, I think.
Y'all know that Peter has a lot of B-roll of me making an absolute mess of myself. I have a feeling this mammoth
This
is
is
gonna be one of
a
those times.
chicken marsala. This is from Alessio's, by the way.
Alessio's.
We've got a Parmesan risotto, little caprese stick, and the chicken marsala. This is gonna be a mess.
Do
And
we put a little bit of this on it just to really give the people something good to look
Girl,
at home?
This is why you're my favorite person to eat with. Little combo.
Little combo
Is
action.
this crazy? Are
Cheers.
we crazy? Oh my god, my hair. I love chicken marsala.
Wow.
This is way better than Olive Garden, let me tell you that.
So I already know it's all over my face, but I'm not going to acknowledge that. The richness of that risotto and the marsala.
Another bite.
Oh my God. That is a lot of flavor packed into one. And this is like a very hefty portion
Oh
right
yeah,
here.
this is hefty.
This is like not
The
just
people
a
are
chicken
eating
wing.
well tonight.
They
Let me tell you
are
that.
eating well. And I would go back and order this again on the menu. Like, no doubt, hands down. Fantastic. Wow.
Top it up with that caprese.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right. All right. I'm gonna
Two
do
more to
one.
go.
Let's
I
do.
know. I'm like, what did we eat already?
Should we do this next?
Yes.
Okay. I might follow your lead and let's try the same thing.
Okay,
All right.
perfect.
So this right here.
Laka souvlaki. We've got the spicy feta dip. Let's just get in there.
Okay.
Who needs this? The little sport.
Big dip, people.
Big dip, people.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
It is so rich.
Rich and creamy and flavorful.
And they use the best feta.
You can taste the feta. You can taste the feta. Wow, so strong.
That's perfect.
All right. What do we got here? I'm going for my spork again.
I know, this needs a big sport. This is a superfood bowl. So there's quinoa, there's onions, peppers, feta, chicken.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, there's caramelized onions in there too. It's a great flavor combo.
But like refreshing.
It's so refreshing.
People always get on me that I say food's refreshing. This is refreshing and
Yeah.
light and delicious.
And I feel like people freak out at like superfood. It's like, oh, it's so healthy. No. I mean, it is healthy, but it's delicious.
refreshing. It's refreshing.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Last one. I don't want it to end, but we do have a lot to polish off after. All right. This is from Leo's.
Leo's.
Woo, we love
We've
Leo's.
had some good times at Leo's. let me
Yes,
tell
too
you
many
that.
good times, too much wine. Thank you very much. All right.
Too much wine. You know I love my vodka sauce.
So good every single time.
Oh my goodness.
Meatball time.
Meatballs are perfect size.
Oh my God. I know we keep saying everything's delicious, but we're obviously in Hoboken eating the best Hoboken foods. We're so excited that we were here. I
So excited
can't
to
wait
be
to
here with
finish
you.
all of this.
We're chowing down. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Hudson River Care and Counseling. Hello, I'm Dr. Pam Pater-Ennis, the CEO and founder of Hudson River Care and Counseling with over 30 years of clinical social work experience and therapy. We are a progressive counseling and coaching practice with a diverse team that brings a holistic approach to clients. We offer support both in person and through digital platforms such as telehealth. Consider us a safe haven that you can trust with care for your mental health needs. Visit our website to set up a consultation today.
Peter Biancamano, your hostess with the mostest of the Pulse with Peter B. Folks, don't forget to go on our Facebook and our Instagram pages by searching The Pulse with Peter B. and like and follow us on each of those platforms. We're constantly updating those pages with previews of each week's segments and cool stories. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our email address at thepulsewithpeterb@gmail.com. Welcome back to the Pulse with Peter B. We were at Maxwell Place Pier the last segment. We're actually going to be back the next segment, but we had to make a quick stop at the beautiful Sangria restaurant located at 800 Jackson Street in the beautiful city of Hoboken, New Jersey. And a man who was here last week talking about the Bronx Bombers. And don't worry, we got your emails. We were like, hey, what about the Metropolitans? They're pretty damn good too. So you know what? We had to bring them back, and that is our sports insider, Mr. Joey Jarzynka. Welcome back, buddy.
Peter, thank you so much for having me. How are things?
Things are very, very well. I feel like Houdini. I'm at the pier. I'm here. I'm going, but why not grab some sangria, right?
Absolutely.
Between the show here. All right. We spoke about the Yankees last week. Let's talk about another first place team. A team that people are really excited for because they're usually not in this type of position every year, and that is the New York Mets. Buck Showalter's New York Mets. And why don't we begin with Buck Showalter? Because Steve Cohen, of course, the owner of the Mets, was giddy about bringing in Buck. I mean, do you believe that the Mets' success so far this season has a lot to do with Buck?
Oh, there's no doubt about it. And you look at what the New York Metropolitans have done, Peter, and what you have gotten to see is a complete culture change. And I think it all started with Steve Cohen when he came in, and he also asked a ton of the fans, what should we do about certain things? And it all started from the top. Steve Cohen put his mark on this New York Mets team, and today here, what we are seeing with what Buck Showalter has also brought, right, is a big credit to what Steve Cohen has built. But also, again, we can talk about Buck Showalter for as long as we want. We know his history. But Steve Cohen, though, all credit to him for bringing in Buck Showalter because he has that mentality of a manager that just wants to win and is a everything has to go his way type attitude, and it's all showing. Everyone's bought in.
And you know what's amazing? Jacob deGrom hasn't played a single game yet this season. I mean, probably the best player in baseball, hands down. Correct. It's definitely the best starting pitcher. I mean, in baseball. And this team is over 20 games over 500. It's the craziest thing. I mean, and obviously they got the biggest splash of the offseason again through Steve Cohen with Scherzer.
Yep.
But he's now on the shelf, and this team just keeps winning. Why, Joey?
Chris Bassett, Carlos Carrasco, also known as Cookie. Those two pitchers have been the biggest assets for this New York Mets team. And again, what we are continuing to see is, again, the next man up mentality. We're seeing the Taijuan Walkers of the world. We're seeing Chris Bassett's of the world. Keep in mind, too, that was a very quiet trade that occurred for the New York Mets over the winter. Right. Chris Bassett, when the Oakland Athletics made a complete dumpster, basically, they let everybody go. A fire sale. That's the better word. They went on a fire sale and basically sold everybody. Chris Bassett was a big part of why this New York Mets team has been doing so well.
Exactly. Now, just to continue with the pitching, I mean, we spoke last week about the Yankees bullpen, but the Mets bullpen has been probably just as good, if not better.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Seth Lugo, is probably one of their best relievers, I would guess. I mean, but also all the way up to Edwin Diaz, the closer, who, of course, fans were a little shaky about because how many saves did he blow last year?
Oh, my goodness.
It was definitely over a dozen from what I understand. From what I remember, I should say. Total turnaround year for the bullpen and the closer for this team.
Yeah, and the crazy part, too, is that what we're seeing with Edwin Diaz as well, a complete shift in his mechanics, in his attitude, in his body language. We're seeing all of that come to fruition here with this New York Mets team. And again, it all starts from the top. When you make that culture change, everything changes. From the Edwin Diaz that we got a chance to see last year, and the Edwin Diaz that we got a chance to see back in Seattle just a few years ago when the New York Mets made that trade under the Wilpon regime, mind you.
That's right.
This is a completely different Edwin Diaz. This is a completely different bullpen as well. And it all starts again with the mindset of the clubhouse. That's what we're seeing, and also it also has the mentality too. And when Peter, when you really look at it and you say to yourself, what's going on with this entire bullpen and the starting pitching, it also has to do with the personnel, the coaching staff that you bring in as well. What Buck Showalter has brought in too. So we're starting to see Jeremy Hefner, who's a part of that staff as well. He's been a big part of what has gone right for this New York Mets team.
And you have to hit. You have to score runs, obviously. And I think the Mets have been doing that in bunches this year. I mean, Pete Alonso, Jeff McNeil. I mean, Francisco Lindor having a huge bounce-back year, in my opinion. But also, it's the additional pieces that Steve Cohen and Billy Epler, added over the offseason. I mean... in terms of the hitting department, obviously Janikowski's hurt now, but Escobar, who's been playing phenomenal. I mean, it's all coming together.
Eduardo Escobar, you brought it up. Marcana, Starling Marte, keep that in mind as well. And of course, as you brought up, Travis Jankowski, special place in my heart. Long Islander.
I was going to say, exactly.
Of course, out of Stony Brook University. But of course, again, going back to those pieces as well, you have to keep in mind too is that going back to Edwin Diaz, there was also another piece that was added to that trade from Seattle to New York. Robinson Cano, who is no longer there. Steve Cohen decided to eat almost $40 million in the contract that was left for Robinson Cano. You are beginning to see something completely different. It is not about the money here. It's about winning, and that culture, it begins to basically, you can see what is going on here. The fans love it. The players love it. The front office loves it. Everyone from top to bottom love to see what's going on here. Some of those big money decisions, it doesn't matter how many zeros are attached to that 4, Steve Cohen wants to win.
Absolutely. Now, one thing that we didn't really talk about as well, which, of course, assists the Mets greatly, is that every other team in the division have losing records as of this taping.
Of course.
So, obviously, when every other team is that bad, it makes you look this good. Yeah. But do you actually think that it's the Mets who are good, or just these other teams that are bad?
No, I think it's the New York Mets are that good. And and I'll be honest with you, as of right now, I'm wearing a New York Yankees chain. That they are my diehard favorite team. I root for the Yankees every single day for my entire life. But the New York Mets, we have to give credit where credit is due. The Atlanta Braves right now, they are, of course, the reigning World Series champions. And they are in the exact same division as well. It is awfully tough to see what's going on there. The Philadelphia Phillies are in a legitimate free fall. You also see the Washington Nationals. They are also not only in a free fall. They're also young, but also keep in mind too, they are in a complete rebuilding stage. The Miami Marlins, they're the Marlins, but the Braves, though, they're the most surprising team. I still think, though, the Mets, this is their division to lose. We typically see also, Peter, towards after the All-Star break, things tend to go downhill.
Correct.
So we might have to come back here.
You're gonna have to come back here.
We're gonna have to come back here. We're gonna have to talk about
Long Island's not that far.
Exactly. that is true. That is true.
Maybe we'll have to go out and see you on Long Island.
Hey, listen, you're more than welcome.
We have about 90 seconds left here, Joey, and I asked you this last week with the New York Yankees, and you kind of mentioned that. You did mention that the Mets are the class of the National League East.
That's correct.
However, are they the class of the National League? The Los Angeles Dodgers are still a very, very good baseball team. I'm going to give you an early I'm going to make you give me an early prediction, I should say. Los Angeles Dodgers versus the New York Mets and NL pennant. Who do you like in that matchup?
As of right now, from top to bottom, I still like the Los Angeles Dodgers right now, and the reason why is because we have seen the LA Dodgers do it time in and time again with pretty much this exact roster. We have seen some changes, of course. They are just so stacked from top to bottom. Every single bullpen piece that they've got top to bottom. The New York Mets, though, they are right there. There is no doubt about it, but we'll have to see, again, down the stretch, what the Mets can do.
All right, and one more thing. is there a Subway Series on the horizon if the Mets can get past the Dodgers?
Well, I can tell you this right now, Peter. If that is the case, I will be shaking, and I will also be in the fetal position because my friends are diehard Mets fans, and I can tell you this: if the Mets were to win the World Series against the New York Yankees, it would not be a fun time for me. But
Listen,
I do believe it is coming.
They haven't had much to root for in the last couple decades, but we'll see what happens. Joey Jarzynka, our sports insider, thanks again for coming by. I really
Peter,
appreciate
thank
it.
you so much, man. I truly appreciate you guys doing this every single time with
And
me.
we hope to see you soon.
You will. You betcha.
All right, thanks again. All right, folks, we will be right back. Peter Biancamano back with you. Don't forget to watch us on cable access every Sunday and Monday at 9 a.m. Optimum Channel 18, Files Channel 46, and Comcast Channel 190. Also on Sunday mornings at 9:30 a.m., you can watch our show on our YouTube channel, and you can also binge watch all of our old shows. Who doesn't want to keep watching The Pulse with Peter B? We'll see you there. Welcome back to The Pulse with Peter B. here at beautiful Maxwell Place Pier. And for all of my fellow old Hobokenites out there, the person to my right needs absolutely no introduction. When he was walking down the pier to come on set, I said if we knew we had a local celebrity on set, we would, have to release it on social media because fans will be flocking you, Mark.
Peter, that's the definition of being a big fish in a small pond, but thank you very much. I appreciate
absolutely love it. And that is, of course, Mark Singleton, and it is an honor to have you on the show.
Thanks very much, Peter. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Great to be here. Great to be here.
And Mark has a reputation, and rightfully so, as being just one heck of a guy in town. I mean, he has been neighbors with my parents. His business is on the same block. My parents have been there 40 years. How long has the real estate been there?
37.
37. So,
Yep.
so 37 years. Just shy. My parents beat him by 3.
By the way, I could tell some embarrassing stories about when you were this big, but I won't.
I think you're going to have to say one or two. Look, the crew is looking forward to this. A different story for a different time because
Okay,
he knows I'm younger than 37.
That's right.
Just a shy younger than 37.
Yeah.
But, Mark has always been a staple for my parents. And you've done my parents many, many favors like you've done to many different people in the Hoboken community. And I just want to thank you personally for that.
No, it's my pleasure. I love your mom and dad. They're great people to have on the block, and it's been great being neighbors with them as well. And great mozzarella, best mozzarella in town.
There you go. Exactly. Not only that, and we're going to get into the real reason why. We have to say this.
Yeah.
You've been to my mother's hometown in Italy too, correct?
Absolutely. I called your mom from your mom's hometown for a recommendation of a place to eat. And she
La
put me on-
Romantica or
That's
something like
exactly right. She put me onto this restaurant. It was great. It's a beautiful, one of those ancient walled city kind of places. Just gorgeous. I loved it.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, it's literally right up the block of where she grew up. Yeah, phenomenal. Anyway, so as if Mark wasn't a great guy enough, he does amicable work with the Hoboken Homeless Shelter.
Yep.
He's been volunteering for 37 years,
Yep.
and I believe you're currently the vice president of the board
I am.
at this moment.
I am, yep.
And there's a big event coming up. Why don't
That's
you
right.
explain to the audience about the gala coming up?
Sure. So we have our anniversary gala coming up. It's the 40th anniversary of the Hoboken Shelter. Hoboken Shelter opened in 1983, and I started volunteering there in 1985. And it's been a staple of the Hoboken community for all of those years, and a really important part of my life as well. So it's just been a real blessing for me to have been a volunteer there for so long. And I always tell the story of when I started there. I graduated Hoboken High in 1979.
Wow.
And in
You look so young.
I know, thanks. In 1983, I went to the Hoboken Shelter. In 1987, I went to the Hoboken Shelter just on a whim. No, 85, 83 the shelter opened, 85. And my first night there, I met 3 people from my high school class that were on the other side of the bread line. So, and
Wow.
it kind of freaked me out, obviously, because 6 years before that, these people were contemporaries of mine and we were playing basketball together. And it cemented my relationship with the Hoboken Shelter, but also really taught me an important lesson, which is that, for millions of people in this country, and certainly everyone in Hoboken, lots of people are just one emergency away from needing some place like the Hoboken Shelter. So I've been going there on the second Wednesday of every month, cooking since then. So it's been a great blessing in my life.
Oh my goodness, Mark, and we thank you for the service.
No,
I
no.
mean, and just to explain to the audience here, because when people drive by 3rd and Bloomfield
Yep.
on the corner,
Yeah.
they sometimes see a line. The shelter's not that big,
No.
but the operation is unbelievable to try to feed and house for the night as many people as possible.
Right. We serve about 250 meals a day at the Hoboken Shelter. We shelter 55 people overnight, 50 to 55 overnight every night. We do 1,000 showers for street-dwelling homeless people during the week, and we're a warming center and a cooling center, often the only place that people have to go. So the Hoboken shelter is not that big a place, but with the services we provide are huge. For many people in Hoboken, if it wasn't for the Hoboken shelter, they would have no other place to go, not only for food, but also just to get out of the rain, to get out of the cold and out of the heat. So, homelessness and hunger is a big problem in America, and certainly Hoboken shares in that. But Hoboken shelter has always been a big part of, keeping the impact of that problem less in the Hoboken community and also providing a great service to people.
Oh, that's absolutely fantastic. And Mark, obviously in 37 years, since 1985, you've seen the shelter change.
Yeah.
I guess, Hoboken has changed as well.
Yep.
I mean, Hoboken, of course, was a working class community then with where we're sitting right now, which, of course, was Maxwell House Coffee and then of Shipyards right next to us, and so on and so forth. So how do you think the shelter has changed over time?
Great. Well, when the shelter opened in 1983, we thought it would be a very short-term solution because they were closing a lot of the SROs in Hoboken, single-room occupancy dwellings, and we had some newly homeless people, and literally the churches came together to form the Hoboken shelter and thought that maybe it would be a 1 or 2 year project. We used to, have about 10 people overnight at the most and serve, 40 meals a day or something. It's grown as the population has changed and grown, and also as the number of people needing our services has grown. At this point, it's a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day place. We don't only feed and shelter. We also have lots of services that are provided for people, from resume writing skills to creative writing to art. And most people don't know, but we also administer 26 units of off-site housing, which is what we call the permanent and supportive housing program, where residents of our shelter can move on to their own homes and, and get out of the system altogether and find, and move on to the next phase in their life.
Absolutely.
With our support.
And many times, a homeless person would suffer from mental health.
Yep.
And I'm sure the Hoboken Homeless Shelter sees that coming in its doors probably every day.
Yeah.
So would you say, and we're still in a pandemic here, which is shocking, but we still are. Would you say you've seen those cases increase after the pandemic than beforehand?
Well, what's interesting is when the pandemic first hit, we obviously expected the worst. We expected massive spread and all kinds of problems. The Hoboken shelter never closed for 1 day during the entire pandemic. It was amazing.
So the volunteers took their own health into risk, correct?
We really cut down on volunteering, but people like me, I continued to volunteer. I would suit up and show up, and lots of others did as well. And we have a staff of people at the Hoboken shelter that work for us that are just amazing. They worked through the entire pandemic. But yes, mental health issues are certainly been exacerbated through during the pandemic and through then. And we work very, very hard along with St. Mary's Mental Health, or now it's Hoboken University Medical Center, to provide some of those services and get our guests the services they need. But you're absolutely right. It's been a very trying time and very difficult time for many.
Absolutely. All right. Well, let's discuss this annual gala.
Yes.
Because in all honesty, Mark, and if you disagree with me, say, Peter, you're dead wrong. But, most people, when they think about volunteering at a homeless shelter, they'll think around to Thanksgiving time, correct?
Yep.
They want to go and serve meals, which is great. I mean, that's more than a lot of other people do who never volunteer. But you guys are having your gala on Wednesday, June 15th.
Yep.
And this is the perfect time to give back to the less fortunate.
You're absolutely right. There was one Thanksgiving Day where we actually had 300 volunteers at the Hoboken shelter to serve dinner to 100 people. So
Exactly.
Everyone comes during Thanksgiving, and it's an interesting time. But we need people to know that hunger and homelessness exists all year, and this is our anniversary. So every 5 years we throw a big gala, and we did it. We started very small at All Saints Church one year. We moved a couple of years ago. We had it up at the Stevens Ballroom, and this year we're having it on one of these big dinner boats with a cruise around the Hudson. We expect to have 300 or 400 people, and it's really a celebration of the work that we've done at the Hoboken shelter, but also just a reminder for everyone that these issues are for all year. And we struggle to make ends meet some years. Other years we do well, but we're always there working really, really hard to fulfill our mission, which is to end homelessness one person at a time. I mean, that's our goal. Our goal is to end homelessness one person at a time. And Jacqueline Cherubini, our executive director, works really, really hard to make that
Jackie's
happen.
unbelievable.
She's
Absolutely.
great. She's a great person.
And where can people find tickets for the events?
So if you go to HobokenShelter.org /gala, You can find all of the links not only for shelter tickets, but also for sponsorship. We have an ad journal. We have every level of contribution that people could want to make. We honestly hope everyone comes out to join us on the night of the 15th. I fully expect it to be sunny and beautiful and a great evening to really celebrate the Hoboken shelter, but also celebrate Hoboken and celebrate what the shelter has meant to Hoboken and vice versa. So please come join us if you can. It's going to be a great night.
Well, Mark Singleton, Vice President of the Hoboken Homeless Shelter Board, and of course, overall great guy, and of course, owner of Singleton Galmann Real Estate. And I'm going to guess the address here, 1106 Washington.
You're good.
Is that right on the head?
You should get your real estate license.
I should get my exactly. Mark, really, really appreciate all your efforts, and thank you so much for coming on.
My pleasure. Always great to see you, my
Absolutely,
friend.
definitely. All right, folks, join us next week for The Pulse on everything you need to know. I'm Peter Biancamano from the Maxwell Place Pier. Have a great week, everybody.